Hello, hello. I decided to try a different setup here and I'm like holding my microphone. If you can see me, if you're watching the video, if you're just listening to the podcast, then you have no idea what I'm talking about. And hopefully it sounds great still. But I'm switching up. I was like, I feel like I kind of feel like holding it, but it's got a stand. So a little awkward. Anyways, welcome to another episode of the It Starts With You podcast. We're including this. This is real life. I decided to just, not edit out this and me trying to figure out how I wanted to hold my microphone today. I hope you are having an amazing day, and thank you for the outreach and the messages for those of you who caught my last podcast episode where I was sharing the real life side of the quote unquote pity city. And if you have no idea what I'm talking about, go check out last week's episode where I talk about just life happening. And I've just been saying so much this year, like lifing, not only for myself, but so many people, because not just me going through things, we all are going through things, but I feel like collectively this year, clients I've had, friends, family have just had some really big, heavy, like transformative and maybe not always the ways that we feel like are good things happen to them. And so check out that episode where I share a little bit of what's going on and some lessons. But today we're here to talk about authentic communication. Now, as a speaker and as a coach and as a CEO and founder of a company that supports people in growing their communication and influence, I hear the word communication from people a lot and in a lot of different formats. And I do help people to elevate their influence and their communication in a lot of different ways, right? I do it from stage personally and help to, inspire and motivate and empower, but also give the tools and the resources and the skills for people to not only work on mindset and resilience, but oftentimes we have this underlying, how do you increase your communication, your influence, right? So I do that. Also, as an executive coach, oftentimes I'm working with executive level leaders, sometimes newer leaders, but oftentimes executive level leaders or business owners. And often we are working on some form of communication. Sometimes that looks like how to have, tough, crucial, or critical conversations with employees or staff around performance things. Sometimes it's giving and receiving feedback. Oftentimes it's how can they present information in the boardroom or to stakeholders, to the board, to the certain C-suite members to get buy-in for things. And then when it's business owners, it's communication and how do they show up more authentically and confidently on video or in sales calls, or those of you who also want to do speaking and grow your business with speaking. And by the way, a little plug for that, if you are an entrepreneur, business owner, or if you're somebody who, has like a side thing, if you're in an organization, you're looking to grow your business through speaking, we are currently enrolling for the Speaker Space Academy. So check it out in the show notes as well. We'll put a link to that, but just a quick little plug here that we are enrolling for the Speaker Space Academy. This is my signature program particularly for those of you who are looking to grow your business through speaking. If you're someone in corporate organizations and you're looking to grow your speaking and your confidence, send me a message. We've got other resources for you. We've got other programs and things like that. Currently, right now we're enrolling for the Speaker Space Academy. So a little bit more about the Speaker Space Academy. This is my signature program. We have launched this. We've been doing this for 2.5 years. I have to look back. I should have looked before I started recording how many cohorts we have done. It has evolved from a 4-week sort of pilot program to 8 weeks to 10 weeks to we had been running the last few rounds as a 12-week program, and this is the A to Z to help you grow as a speaker. And a lot of great feedback, so many great wins. Again, go and check out the link and send me a message, because as a podcast listener, you're going to get a special bonus deal if you sign up for the program in the next week. So as a podcast listener, as a thank you, if it's something that you're interested in, we're going to give you a special deal for joining the Academy. But we have so many amazing wins. If you don't follow me on Instagram and this is something you're interested in, I post most of my speaker space information and speaking coaching over on Instagram at julie.menden. And you can see countless video testimonials of clients who have gone through this program with amazing results, helping them find their message, helping them create their keynote, helping them get more clear on their brand and the impact they want to bring with their business, booking paid speaking, leaving their, current offers or current roles, things that they were doing to really step into this space, whether it's keynote speaking or workshops or trainings, people turning their talks into webinar series for lead gen and launch program, launch initiatives for their programs. This is for consultants and coaches. I work with financial advisors. I've worked with, personal trainers, health and fitness. So anybody who wants to get their message out there, and we give you all the steps. This round is for the first time ever launching as a 6-month program. We're so excited. More time to support you in the implementation and the mentorship. And largely we're doing this because the majority of people who have gone through this program after the 12 weeks have started booking speaking, have started booking paid speaking, have started elevating their rates, and or they have started booking more things. And then it's wait, now I want help doing more of this. Now I want help prepping for my event. So this next round is 6 months. And again, reach out to me for more information. Check it out. I can share more, but this is a full program to help support you. So little plug for that, because I know I don't talk about those programs on here enough. And I've been getting some, questions about this. We've got some amazing people already enrolled. So please feel free to reach out and ask questions. If that's not for you, you can just ignore all of that. But authentic communication, right? This comes up in so many things. Again, so helping corporate executives, helping business owners, helping entrepreneurs. And while there's some nuances, right, whether you're speaking within an organization and doing feedback and presenting versus speaking for your business, there are some underlying things. And this is, I'm really thinking about this. I've had some conversations. I'm going to be doing, fall is always a busy time for me for speaking. So I've got events coming up. I'm going to be out in Oregon, super excited. I'm going to be out in Portland, Oregon at the NHRMA conference, their HR conference, and I'm going to be doing a session on the power of presence. Really excited. Got some other sessions coming up with organizations around confidence and communication. Was just talking to an organization about a conference they're having on authentic communication for their women leaders. So it's just been coming up more and more and more. And I just want to give you a couple nuggets today. First of all, there's been a really interesting conversation around the word executive presence. Now, if you're in an organization, this is going to hit for you probably a little bit more, but one of the things that I hear from organizations is that they want help with their leaders having this executive presence. On the other hand, in the last few years, there's been a little bit of a shift in people wanting to use that word because they feel like it's sort of an outdated or sort of in the box definition of what people feel like you need to be like. I think sometimes people hear that they think executive presence, meaning that you have to show up like someone else, like you have to show up like the leaders there. Maybe it's like a suit and tie and a certain just something I heard a client say once, like a certain stuffiness, or that you have to all be like cookie cutter. And so I was recently on a call with a one-on-one client who felt really resistant to that because he had gotten feedback that he needed to work on his presence. And the way that it was presented to him was that he needed to have a certain type of bag. This really was a scenario that this executive told him essentially he needed to get a different bag to have this presence. Well, that's really not exactly what we're talking about. So, of course, it makes sense that he has sort of this negative view of executive presence because he's like, I don't want to change who I am. And there's this fine balance when we talk about presence. And again, this is something we're going to be diving into at my HR session next week, is there's this fine balance when we talk about presence in being able to understand the environment that you're in and the culture that you're in, and being able to meet the needs in a professional standpoint, while also staying true to your authentic self, your authentic presence. Because if you're not showing up authentically, and if you're not showing up, with this level of your own self coming through, then you're going to feel like an imposter. You're not going to have your confidence. You're not going to be able to really bring to the table everything you have to bring to the table. And so there's really no exact answer I can give you to find this, other than if you're looking for that, my firm can help support you through coaching or programs, resources, trainings that we have for you or your team. But it's really a conversation you need to have where you're finding this balance between, I'm tend to be of the I guess sometimes I say like old school, old soul mindset, where we should have a certain presence when we're working or when we're attending events, or really knowing what's appropriate there, and to an extent making sure that you do have that. Well, also, again, that does not mean that everyone has to be like dressing and acting and saying the exact same things. And so sometimes it's a little bit of self-reflection, sometimes it's talking it through with a coach or somebody else to really figure out, how do I find that balance for myself that's going to be appropriate in the situation, while also bringing my own unique and authentic self, right? Because when we think of presence, it kind of ties hand in hand with communication. I'd say the same thing. When we talk about authentic communication, it's not that we are trying to get you to talk and show up exactly like someone else, because then you're definitely replaceable, in the sense of like all 10 people, you got 10 people going for a job or a speaking opportunity, and you're all exactly the same. Well, they're just going to pick the cheapest one, right? Quote unquote, right? So there is something to be said of like, you need to find that authentic communication style for yourself. And so a couple things is, first of all, like, you need to know you. You need to know what you value. You need to know what's important to you. You need to know what are the pieces of yourself and the way that you want to present yourself that you don't want to lose. Like, those are core to who you are. And this is a conversation I had with this client about, it was the way that he was defining presence. And just because one person defined it way, does not mean that's a universal definition that you now need to get a certain bag in order to have this allure, right? And so you need to really get clear on who you are, what you value, what you stand for. I have my clients do this personal branding exercise. I do this in some of my present sessions as well. And we do this in the Speaker Space Academy, like across all these things, because you need to know, what do you want people to think of you? What are those words you want them to think of when they hear your name, when you walk into a room, when you leave a room, when they see your name come across their desk or through their email as, pitching yourself for an opportunity or for whatever it might be. You need to know that, because if you don't curate it, other people will curate it for you. If you don't create what you want your brand to be, other people are going to create it, and it might not be the one you want. So you need to know that, so that you know, what are those pieces of me that's really important that I show up with, and how I communicate. You need to get clear on what is your communication style. Like, how do you want to be known? Do you want to be known as like the fun, bubbly, go-lucky personality, and how can you bring that through and massage it in different environments? Do you want to be known as the person who's really straightforward and just kind of shoots it straight, and also being able to flex, so we say, kind of flex your style in situations as you need to? But at the core of who you are, you have to get clear on that first. And then you have to work on being okay with that style not jiving with everybody. That's okay. Like, there's this balance of being able to flex in different situations while also staying true to who you are, and knowing that that's just, you're not going to be for everybody, and that's okay. There might be certain opportunities that you don't get, or that they don't want you, or you don't want, because it doesn't jive, right? And so you have to know that. And I tell this to my Speaker Space members, and I tell this to my clients, in organizations when they're trying to maybe pitch themselves for new jobs or to start presenting at meetings, whatever it might be, is that you have to know, what is it that you bring to the table that's unique, that's going to give your unique edge? And also, what can you share with them that maybe you have a different spin on it, right? There's not too many new, novel, unique ways to say the things. Like, a lot of people are saying the same things in just different ways, but it's your own unique lens, your own unique personality that you're bringing to the table that will make you stand out. But you have to have this confidence to be able to do that, and the confidence, know it's okay if it's not exactly what somebody wants, because you're not going to be for everybody. Like, if that's that recovering perfectionism that I always say that I have worked on, is like, I've had to grow thicker skin to know that I'm not going to be for everybody. You know how many times I get denied for speaking opportunities? So when the few come through, that's like, yeah, you got it, it's amazing. Or clients that are like, that doesn't, prospects, I should say, they're like, I'm going to go with someone else. Like, I can't take it personal. It wasn't a right fit. Or, social media, I'm pretty active on social media, and if my content doesn't jive with people, okay, my podcast maybe doesn't jive with people. You have to be okay with that, so that you can find the people that are for you. But if you're not willing to do the work. And if you're not willing to get clear on who you are, and if you're not willing to be okay to not be for everybody, then you're just going to be, I don't know if this is like a bad saying, so I don't know if I want to say it, but vanilla plain, because vanilla is great too. Like, I love vanilla, so I don't even know where that saying comes from. I don't want to use that one. I need a different saying, but that's the one that came to my head. But like, you're just going to be like everybody else. You're just going to be, just whatever. It's just like this blanket, like, yeah, that's just, like, I don't want to say unforgettable either. That just, none of that sounds right. I think you know what I'm getting at, right? Where it's just, you don't have this thing, right? Sometimes there's this thing, like maybe this is it. Sometimes there's this like presence that people have, or this like thing about them that you're like, oh, I want to be around them, or there's just something about them. Like, and then there's people that's just like, yeah, just, they're fine. They're okay, right? How can we be that like, ooh, there's something about them, right? There's something about them that I want to work with them. I want to be around them. I want to have them on my team. That's what we talk about when we talk about authentic communication, is how can you start to curate that? And I always talk about, when I talk about communication, I talk about the 3 C's: confidence, clarity, and conviction. And all 3 of those is really blending together to create this really powerful presence in communication. Is how can you really work to find your authentic confidence? How can you speak with a lot of clarity so that people aren't trying to figure out who you are or what you're trying to say, in this conviction? Because people who have conviction, it's like one of my favorite words. People who have conviction is like they have this belief in themselves. They have this belief in what they're saying and what they stand for, and so much so that they can get other people on board with it. So that's what I wanted to share with you. Just, I really want you to think about, when you're thinking about your presence, when you're thinking about your authentic communication, is who are you? What do you want to be known for? I have this like itch in my eye and it will not stop. It's so distracting to me right now. So thank you again for those of you watching the video, and those of you who aren't, you can just laugh at all the Juliisms happening today. But it's like, who are you? What's that thing that you want to be known for? What are those words that you want people to think of when they think of you? What are the things that are so core to who you are and what you value that you want to make sure that you bring those, and you're not willing to give those up or sacrifice those for anybody or any environment? And thinking through, how do I blend my own personal uniqueness with being able to flex or adapt to the situation in a way that still feels authentic? And also then, how can I bring, the 3 C's? How can I bring my confidence? How can I have more clarity? And how can I have this conviction so that I'm really genuinely showing up from this like inner strength and this inner confidence and this inner power in all different environments? And to me, that's when we talk about, and that was something I talked about with this client when he said executive presence just wasn't jiving for him. It's like, okay, well, maybe it needs to be authentic presence, or maybe we need to come up with another word, because if that word, it was around the definition of it, and there's no, that person who said this to him, that was not everyone's universal definition of presence, right? So for you, it's, what is your authentic presence? What's your authentic communication that is also going to allow you to get where you want to go? So hopefully this message resonates with you. Hopefully I give you a little chuckle with some of the things today on this episode. And also, please go ahead and, first of all, if you want to stay connected, you can check out the show notes and subscribe to the email to get email updates. And also, if you are somebody who's looking to grow and scale your business, become a paid speaker, work on this path and this avenue, check out the Speaker Space Academy. Of course, you feel free to send me a message, but also check out the details, and would love to have you and have the conversation. And if you're looking to bring this idea of authentic communication and presence and within an organization that you're in, or for yourself, absolutely reach out. We can talk about how we do that through coaching, how we do that through speaking coaching, or how we do that through our trainings and support as well. So keep this in mind, that your unique perspective, your unique value, your unique things that you bring to the table matter. And that is what is going to help you really speak up for the things that matter and stand out from the rest.